Hey John, thank you so much for sitting down with me. Could you tell me a little bit about what you do and where you work?
Sure. Loud Security Systems started the company in 1995. We're based in the Atlanta, Georgia marketplace. We're more of a low voltage integrator, so we do a security system, alarm monitoring. Used to work with about 40 to 50 custom builders, but I know builders is a foreign terminology now, as most builders are not existing. I think one has survived along the way. But through that process, we do theater rooms, vacuum, intercom, automation, lighting control. We've been doing that for about 10 years now.
Oh,
so
wow.
kind of a full line of low voltage. About 70% residential, 30% commercial.
Okay.
So on the commercial side, we certainly get into fire access, Berg, your normal CCTV and so forth.
Neat. Do you see any new trends entering the industry that you think Loud would either take advantage of or might be a little threatened by?
Certainly not from a threatening standpoint. Most of it's been within the realm of what we've been doing.
Right.
It's funny it was interesting to me really at ESX this past year. I came out of there with one word. I came back to my management team and I said the word I heard the whole time, the one strong word was thermostat. Thermostat was the word, so to start to bridge that to the energy management side of it all.
For sure.
Was kind of, okay, well, let's start getting with our manufacturers, talking with them, and how do we put together that product offering and get prepared for that. Also, from the line of automation we were working with, which was a far more costly platform, to where we sit now 6 months, 8 months later, for the offerings of various manufacturers is wonderful. So it's far more achievable for the masses as opposed to full customized large automation package.
Right. So you've been with us here at the ESI Forum for a couple days now, right? You're a hosted guest.
Yes.
What do you think of the event?
I'm pleasantly surprised. I actually did not know what I was getting into. And
we roped you in.
I tell you what, just the pace it goes, and talking with some others, I think, a few of us have discussed that this actually makes you slow down and do some of the things we probably always mean to do. And with the segment of the time being a 30, 35 minute from an attention span thing, you get a nice condensed snapshot to the point then when you go to some one-on-ones, it gives you really that opportunity to go a little bit deeper to ask some of those questions. So
Right.
I've loved it. I've been very impressed. I tell you what, and this is not because I'm talking with you, but my applause goes to A Venture for how well you guys have orchestrated this. I loved having the cruise director. She had her little number 4 to bring us around. I'm like, oh, there she is. I know where I'm going now. But it was tremendous, just the orchestration to keep us kind of on path where we're going, what's going on. But the information that you get for how much we got on that condensed day was phenomenal.
Great. I'm glad. Are there any manufacturers that stick out to you that you met with?
Absolutely. There's Sedona, Bose, Axis. There's a few that at times I've been meaning or wanting to, but I haven't stopped to do it.
Right.
I'm really glad my operations manager was able to be here too, because there's parts that we got back together to bounce ideas and then get connected to carry some of this so that we don't just have it stop here, but we've set up several of those next step opportunities for us as well as for them. So.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Are there any sessions that you think were particularly valuable to you?
The PERS this morning was really good. It's something we've looked, got the contracts, the paperwork set together. But I was definitely excited about what some of the new changes that have even gone on, where we've kind of let it sit on the shelf, and it's a matter of us to go back and revisit and say, are we going to do it or not? So we've kind of, to not dabble in it, we're either going to really go in and get it or not. The other was really from Telguard. For Telguard to be talking about the 2G going away is something that we certainly, Telguard's in Atlanta, we're in Atlanta, so we've been talking with them. So we're kind of on bandwagon with the 3G. Really what we're looking at is what's going to, in Atlanta, we've already been talking to the folks from AT&T that have shared with us that they're wiring the towers for 7G. So we're dealing with 2G radios. We're about to get to 3 and 4, but where do we go after? So, whether the technology completely changes in the mode of communication, and I believe we're dealing with a new subscriber today that used to deal with a radio or a cell device a few years ago. That was a high security conscious person. Nowadays, it's an economic decision to have them go with cellular as opposed to what it was a few years ago. So when it comes time to change those cellular devices out every 2 or 4 or 6 years, what's the competitiveness going to be between companies to say, hey, or are there folks out there that are going to be offering free cells to everybody? So I think companies need to be really thinking about what are we doing to prepare for that area.
For sure. It's like we want our information, we want it now, we want to be able to control everything right on our phones. So happy. Are you going to be joining us at ESX in Nashville?
Absolutely. This afternoon we'll be signing up.
Oh, good.
So,
Great to
we'll be up there,
hear.
right up the road from us. And I was not. That's the only one I've missed. Was the first one. The others on my management team made it to that. I was unable to make that particular one. I've been to each of the others.
But you've been to others, right? So what do you think the best part about ESX is?
You know, being a smaller show than an ISC, in ISC we usually go about every other year to ISC, and just there's some aspects of it doesn't change. But it's almost like this, where it's smaller, quainter. The amount of what you can pull out of here from even the interactions with the other dealers. You know, of course, being so much more just about the security dealers, more so.
Right.
ESX have really,
For sure.
really enjoyed that.
Right. And you know, and I've noticed just being an onlooker, this industry, you guys just share best practices, you share what's working, what's not working. You would think, you know, you have all these guys in the same room.
Well, I'll give you the best. I mean, as some know, I mean, I was a flight attendant with Delta Airlines for 6 years. So to be a flight attendant, to go figure this out, it's not because I'm brilliant. It's just, you know, we talk about, you know, we appreciate the Interlogics and Honeywells and others that do all that R&D.
Right.
But for us, it's called rip off and duplicate, and it's about that sharing. So that, of course, I've wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars to figure out where we are today. But to come here, and whether it be via manufacturers or people like Sedona, that's a good example of how do I use what software platform for tomorrow. You know, I'm as small as I'm ever going to be right now. So what's that base for me to be able to build from today for down the road? I just need to be, you know, kind of thinking that way. So whether you're dealing with somebody that's got twice or 100 times the amount of accounts you've got, how do they deal with the infrastructure and dispatch and inventory and, you know, communications and, you know, so it's a we always come to like an ESX or an ISC with a list of a few questions. You know, this time being new, it was kind of, I didn't know. You know, I didn't see that schedule till really right then. And, you know, you look at it and go, oh, okay. So.
Good. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.